Sup witches, this is Nine the Hermit, and we are continuing our coloring project of coloring the tarot cards. Today we're talking about the Temperance. Here is my beautiful Temperance. And it's a good change from last week, which was more a scary card, let's call it. The next one that's coming, it's going to be fun too, with the Devil card that's coming for next week. So, if we look at the Temperance card, if we look at the tarot coloring book, let's look at some of the keywords. Healing, blending, finding the right mix. So if you look at the card, you see there's 2 cups, and some books are talking about the fact that they think that the water is being poured from the bottom cup to the upper cup. I don't know where I read this, but I did read this somewhere. So when I see this cup, I'm just thinking of, shaking. And when do you need to shake things or to mix things? You need to bring 2 things that are usually harder to mix together to make a perfect blend, right? So trying to find 2 substances or 2 different elements or things to mix together to create a perfect blend. It really reminds me of a blender or something. Then if we still look at the tarot coloring book, the symbols, so Theresa Reed is talking about the feet in the water. One of the feet is in the water, and it's like testing the waters before making a decision. Now Rachel Pollack in her book talks about, in the 78 Degrees of Wisdom book, she talks about the unconscious and the conscious part. So the unconscious is like the water, and she or he, the angel, is standing on earth. So it's like a mix of unconscious and conscious. Then there's flowers in the background, and these flowers are irises, which can be a link. And also Rachel Pollack talks about this, that the angel resembles the Greek goddess Iris, and there's iris flowers. And she was a goddess who was Zeus' messenger, who traveled to the underworld to fill her golden cup with water from the river Styx. The Greeks believed that dead souls traveled across the Styx to the land of the dead. Only a descendant to the underworld of the self can renew life. So going down to the underworld to renew life. Now if we go to the Ultimate Guide to the Rider-Waite Tarot, this book, you can see the book list underneath the video. Something I highlighted that I liked from this book is about Temperance. The card is an invitation to grasp the contradiction of life with both hands. Then something that you could look at is the triangle that is on her robe. The triangle stands for femininity and spirituality. The square for masculinity and matter. And if you see at the folds above the triangles, there are some, it looks like they're folds of the dress, but it's actually the Hebrew letter for the God's name, Yahweh. I'm pronouncing it the French way. I'm not sure how to pronounce it in English. Behind, in the background, you see the blue mountains, and here they talk about the blue mountains, and they're saying it's a symbol for the marriage of heaven and earth. So you see the mountains, and then you see the sun appearing behind the mountains. Now, if we go to the 78 Degrees of Wisdom, this is the last card on the second row of 7 cards. So we're finishing the second row of 7 cards, and you can read about the meaning of this in the 78 Degrees of Wisdom by Rachel Pollack. Something that I liked about this card, and that's written in this book. So obviously, temperance means moderation, from the Latin temperare, which means to mix or to combine properly, right? The mixing thing. Okay, then something else that I highlighted is the picture shows a physical impossibility because the lower cup is not directly underneath the upper cup, and the water flows sort of like diagonally. To other people, the temperate person's ability to handle all life's problems with joy appears magical. So it seems that this angel, like this person, has it all. She's able to handle all the life's stuff. So then, if you look behind, remember there were 2 pillars on High Priestess. There were a lot of dualities, right? When we talked about other cards, now the 2 pillars are transformed into 2 mountains in the background. If we talk about, I mentioned this previously, but the angel stands with 1 foot on the land, 1 foot in water, as the water represents the unconscious, so the land symbolizes the real world, the real world of events and other people. Then, if we talk about some of the meanings of the card, we can talk about moderation, balance in all things, taking the middle path, and doing the correct things. Sometimes it can mean doing nothing, waiting for something. If we look at this card reversed, we can talk about wildness, going to extremes, going to one thing or the other, right? Because there were 2 cups, and you have allowed your life to become fragmented. And if we look at the tarot coloring book meanings for the Temperance, number 14, it's talking about extreme behavior, over drinking, gluttony. So things that are out of control, and they spiral out of control. So if we look over our progress for the past weeks, we started the 2nd line of cards. We did the Strength, the Hermit, the Wheel of Fortune, the Justice, Hanged Man, that card, and now we are at the Temperance. This beautiful angel mixing different elements together. So next week we are going to talk about the scary card, the Devil, and learn more about the devil. So join me on this project by using the hashtag connecting with the tarot, and you can see the book list underneath the video.